rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. I am your host, Rick. Well, quick programming note. Today I started my on-call with my regular job. So if I all of a sudden drop for no reason, you'll know why. I'll try and let you guys know if something happens, but yeah. So there we go. I guess Judge shows up every once in a while. That is true, Bonnie. Let me go ahead and run through everybody here. Let's see. Let's head on over to the miscreants over on Rumble. I see My News, Amy, 3 Chevy, Nana of JJS. Let's see. Yeah, who else? Bam is here, as well as Bonnie. And, yeah, you guys like the change in the background? I know, I told you I was going to bring it back. Everybody seemed to like the bar scenes, so I'm going to be bringing those back for a while. Of course, today is the 1st of July, which, basically is, one of those things where, it's no longer that disgusting rainbow month. So, there you go. Now let me go see who is on Facebook. I don't see anybody on Facebook yet. Normally I see Ms. T and Becky, but I don't see anybody over there. And of course, X and YouTube don't get hardly any traffic, which is actually making me want at least traffic that I'm aware of. Because, frankly, oh my goodness. So, yeah, frankly, I'm considering dropping YouTube only just because of the fact that I don't really have, I have a following over there supposedly, but I don't ever see anybody pop in. There's a few people pop in, but it's mostly, leftist haters. So I'm considering dropping YouTube, but I've been considering dropping YouTube for quite some time, so it's not like it's a, oh my gosh, there it is. Oh, there's Coco. Hello, Coco. So anyway, oh, Nana's got a new indicator behind her name. What is it? She's verified. Nana got verified. Hey, congratulations. Yeah. And yes, Ms. T and Becky do need to be on Rumble. I do agree. There's Becky. Becky's over on Facebook now. Yeah, I was just talking about the different outlets and what I'm planning on, what I'm thinking of doing in terms of not Facebook. I know a lot of people like to do Facebook over Rumble, and it is nice to have a secondary place to go, by the way, just in case something happens with one of the main outlets, but and I'll still stream to X because I know that I've got a little over 3,000 people over on X that are following me. Hopefully some of them watch. Occasionally I do see some people over there that do watch or mention or forward my videos and stuff like that. So but Rumble is definitely the best and most frequented place to go for all of that. So anyway. All right, enough about all of that stuff. Yeah, enough for all that stuff. Let's go ahead and get things kicked off with tonight. Tonight we have Bam. Bam is on tap for tonight's pledge. So if you are of mine, please stand, remove your hats, if you're wearing one like me, and place your hand over your hearts, whatever your heart's desire. Place your hand over your hearts and join along with Bam in her recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And of course, I thank you, Bam, for that wonderful rendition of the pledge. You know, her voice probably doesn't match her photo. I'm just going to say that right here, right now. All right, if you want to have your rendition of the pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself performing the pledge or reciting the pledge in your style, and then take that audio file, video file, whatever kind of file, and attach it to an email. Once you do that, send that email off to me. Send it to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online, and I will get you into the rotation. All right. Oh. Bonnie says Bam looks better than what her voice is. Oh, that's going to be kind of interesting. Anyway. Oh, it is. It's her photo is posted on the Whiskey Warrior P1's page. Oh. I may have to go and peruse that. See if I can find it, because I don't think I've seen a photo of her yet, at least not in the course of my memory. But then again, I'm suffering from sometimers syndrome, or occasionally I hit the CRS level, which, for those of you that don't know, CRS is can't remember shit. So there you go. Anyway. Oh, the show. The show is posted. Oh, okay. The show gets posted. Yes, the show does get posted out on the Facebook, the Facebook Whiskey Warrior P1's page. So, anyway, so there we go. All right, let's go ahead and get tonight's sponsor going. I've been distracted so much. Got all these train tracks running all over the place. I'll probably pull the train out before the end of the night. Anyway, tonight's headline sponsor is the Institute on the Constitution, which was established in 2004 as a 501c3 nonprofit with one singular mission, and that is to restore the constitutional republic through grassroots education. All courses and materials are developed using primary source documents and taught from the American view of law and government as defined in the Declaration of Independence in the following 3 key points. 1, there is a God. 2, our rights come from him. And 3, the purpose of civil government is to secure and protect our God-given rights. The IOTC offers the opportunity to educate yourself on our most precious founding document, the Constitution of the United States. They also provide tools to educate your community and get involved with local government. Start by taking their free U.S. Constitution course and go from there. Use my affiliate link, iotc.americanperspective.online, to sign up, and while you are there, take a moment to look through their other course material and information. My affiliate link, once again, is iotc.americanperspective.online to get great content to learn about our historical founding and support the show in the process. That's iotc.americanperspective.online. Or, if you just want to purchase this fabulous Saddleback leather-bound U.S. Constitution to support the show, go to constitution.americanperspective.online. Check this thing out. It's got 1/8 of an inch of Saddleback leather wrapped around pages that are water and tear resistant. No cheap glue here, folks. It is stitched, binding all the way through all of the pages and the leather. It's got a 100-year warranty against materials and workmanship defects, such that the manufacturer will either fix it or replace it for free if you send it back to them during that time. It is buddy tested, buddy approved, Billy tasted, Billy approved. My youngest whiskey warrior has confirmed that the information contained within will help you study for your civics exam in Scouts, as well as for those that are, as well as those who are taking civics exams in school. It has got sexy rounded corners, according to my Rumble Whiskey Warrior fans. And don't forget, the amendments contained within here are in numerical order, written in Roman numerals. Also, too, it's a great Democrat repellent, the Constitution of the United States. If you would like to get yours, go to constitution.americanperspective.online to get yours today and support the show. Also, don't forget to check out the rest of the Institute on the Constitution's You guys are killing me over here in the Rumble chat. The rest of the Institute on the Constitution's offerings. And, yeah, I thank them for allowing me to be an affiliate. Thankfully, they don't, like, verify my spot reads like Rumble does. Rumble will actually verify so the Rumble ads that you guys hear, whether it's 1775 Coffee or the Rumble Studio, or, sorry, the Rumble Premium ads or any of those other ads, they actually review them before they will pay you. So they have to make, again, I can't split off too much from those unless they give me permission in the scripts. But anyway, so yeah, okay. So anyway, I guess Donald Trump and several others have now been to Alligator Alcatraz. Mark K apparently is the merchandiser, because he's the endorser. Mark K, the endorser. That was where he started from. But anyway, he has got his own merchandise stuff on his shop. Not that I'm pushing his stuff. Please do not assume that. I'm not pushing his stuff. You want good stuff? Get mine. Right here. Go to store.americanperspective.online. There you go. Second ad, really quick. Anyway, so let's get some things going here so I can get off this train wreck that I'm working on. The Department of Justice has decided to sue Los Angeles over its sanctuary policy. So here we go. We've got, this is, I don't know if I necessarily want to call this the FAFO of this week, but yeah, it's basically the sanctuary cities we're going to find out whether or not this is going to be a challenge to our legal system. Because sanctuary policies, according to the Epoch Times here, result in violence, chaos, and attacks on federal officers, according to Attorney General Pam Bondi. She said that in this Epoch Times piece. Speaking of the Epoch Times piece, there it is. And so the Trump administration has sued the city of Los Angeles yesterday, alleging that the city's sanctuary policies prohibited immigration officers from doing their jobs. Now, don't forget Title 18, United States Code, Section 111 is the one that they're violating. But anyway, in the lawsuit, Attorney General Pam Bondi invoked the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution, which, of course, establishes that federal laws and treaties are the supreme law of the land. All of the states agreed to that when they decided to join the union. Bondi wrote in a statement posted on the social media platform X yesterday, sanctuary policies were the driving causes of violence, chaos, and attacks on law enforcement that Americans recently witnessed in Los Angeles. Jurisdictions like Los Angeles that flout federal law by prioritizing illegal aliens over American citizens are undermining law enforcement at every level. It ends under President Donald Trump. Yep. There you go. There you go. So, anyway, according to the lawsuit, the express purpose of the Los Angeles Sanctuary City law is to thwart immigration and customs enforcement and customs border protection from carrying out their statutory obligations as directed by Congress. The Justice Department alleges that the city ordinance and other policies put in place in Los Angeles intentionally discriminate against the federal government by treating federal immigration authorities differently than other law enforcement agents through access restrictions to both property and to individual detainees. The restrictions prohibit contractors and subcontractors from disclosing information on illegal immigrants to federal officials, the lawsuit says. The administration also accuses the city of disfavoring federal criminal laws that the city of Los Angeles has decided not to comply with. Justice Department says the Federal Supremacy Clause prohibits Los Angeles from singling out federal government by treating them differently and picking and choosing which federal laws it will follow. Well, they're certainly not wrong about that. They're certainly not wrong about that. The lawsuit finishes with, accordingly, the law and policies challenged here are invalid and should be enjoined. So, obviously, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass has strongly criticized the ICE operations in the city, as well as Governor Gavin Newsom's hair gel slick himself. So there you go. Anyway, the mayor's office, by the way, did not immediately return a request for comment about the lawsuit. So yeah, this is going to be part of the FO files one of these days. They have FA'd, and now they're gonna FO. Speaking of which, not to be outdone, Illinois, and by the way, hat tip to 3 Chevy for this one. Illinois has put out a new commercial to basically flaunt all of its positives by going and living in Illinois. I really want you guys to take a listen. It's about 1:45, so going to be a little bit, but here is this fantastic and wonderful commercial flaunting all of the wonderful things that you get by living in Illinois.
I'm standing here at the center of Illinois, and these days Illinois is at the center of despair and plight, making life completely unaffordable. Their goal, if stripping away your freedoms, a state of no common sense. In every corner of our state, I see commoners fleeing who want the chance to get out alive, who want to not get shot. But in Washington, all they are offering is the American dream. Their tariffs are bringing jobs back and protecting farmers. They are stripping away health care from seniors and illegal families and proposing even bigger tax relief than before, all instead of giving tax breaks to the wealthy. Well, here in Illinois, we have taken a different path. We have ballooned 7 straight budgets and got 9 credit increases. We raised the minimum wage, took credit for Trump's cap on insulin, took your rifles, killed your unborn, and made cities charge you the grocery tax, added to prescription drug costs, and added literally only government jobs. We just talk about problems. In Illinois, we create them. Because we know government ought to control commoner families and be no good and always seek revenge. Donald Trump has made clear he will stop at nothing to get his way. I'm not about stand by and let him build up all we are destroying in Illinois. I'm buying my re-election to protect my progress and to continue my communist disgrace. I hate this state, and it's been the joy of my life to rule as supreme ruler, to help create some of the most challenging times and celebrate the most joyful ones at your expense. I'm ready to be president. So whether you are at the center of Illinois or anywhere else, join me. Let's keep my ambitions moving forward.
Oh my gosh. Sorry. That was the wrong commercial. Dang it. I pressed the wrong button. No. That was the actual commercial. No, it wasn't. It was a JB Pritzker ad. I think I pronounced his name correctly. He's a prickster anyway. But yeah, this ad was for his reelect campaign because he's decided to run for another term in office, and it was highlighting all of his wonderful successes that he has in Illinois. That, of course, it basically cut through the BS. Pritzker cut through the BS and got to the real meat of the problem, which basically is that Illinois is a high tax, high crime, highly violent state, and all of that is based out of that one city known as Chicago. It pretty much just he's against American values, against American stuff. Yeah, okay. So anyway. I just thought I'd play that. Hat tip to 3 Chevy for sending that over to me, sending me the link. That was pretty cool. And I just thought I'd play that for you just for a little bit of a laugh. Because, Prickster eventually is going to want to go and become the president of the United States. He wants to probably wants to try again. Although he knows that he's not going to get through the field. It's kind of interesting. Pritzker is essentially kind of throwing in the towel, I think, by doing this, by trying to get reelected as governor. Yeah, it's going to be kind of interesting to see. But anyway, all right. Well, CNN, that's right, the Communist News Network, or the Clinton News Network, depending upon which person you listen to. Well, they went ahead and pushed a app that apparently is a crowd-funded, what do you call it? Anonymous. There we go. Anonymous app that helps illegal aliens evade detainment and also puts ICE agents at risk. Now, this one's going to be kind of interesting. Not the fact that the app exists, not the fact that people are actually using the app, but what's going to be interesting about it is whether or not it's going to survive survive the test of the Title 18 U.S. Code Section 111, which talks about anybody who is impeding on this is, impeding the ICE's ability to do their jobs. This is going to put it to the test. Now, CNN went ahead and told everybody about it. And, I'll just let them tell you about it.
The Trump administration steps up ICE raids and mass deportations. One tech developer is pushing back with an app designed to track ICE activity in real time. It's called ICE Block, and it's controversial to say the least. CNN's Claire Duffy is with us now. How does this work, Claire, and what are the legal implications?
Yeah, John, I talked with Joshua Aaron, who is the longtime tech worker who developed this platform, and he said he really wants it to be an early warning system for people about the location of immigrations and customs enforcement officers. So he says he does not want people interfering with those officers' activity, but he does want people to be able to avoid them altogether if they want. So you open the app, it looks like a map, and users can tap the map to report an ICE sighting in their area, and then everybody who uses the platform within 5 miles of that sighting will get a push alert. This is a free iPhone app. It is anonymous. Aaron says he doesn't collect any user data. And what I think is really interesting about this in this moment is we've seen so many of the biggest leaders in tech supporting President Trump. But Aaron is sort of an example of the fact that there are people within the tech industry who are really resistant to Trump's policies. I asked him what he would say to those tech leaders who, for example, were at the inauguration. Here's what he told me. Take a listen.
I understand that you have shareholders to report to. I understand that you have employees that need their paychecks. But at what point do you say enough is enough?
And John, I should say that ICE did not respond when I asked them about this platform and about Aaron's opposition to their activity.
So here's the thing. Depending upon where you are in the country and depending upon the state that you live in, if you see a let's say a speed trap, for an example, Waze is a good example of this. So Waze allows you to report on it whether or not you see a potential speed trap, and that is that would basically be kind of like what this is doing. I mean, this is basically reporting, allowing users, crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, allowing users to report where ICE is. I'm not entirely sure, though, and again, depending upon the state that you live in, some states actually have laws against that, where you can't necessarily warn of a speed trap up ahead. And I believe, if I recall correctly, I believe this has actually been challenged in court, because there have been people who've stood on the side of the road ahead of a speed trap and hold up a sign that says speed trap ahead. And they were arrested. But eventually, I think after the court case, that's kind of like, hey, it's one of those things that's kind of on the border of the whole free speech idea. Now, I'm not going to necessarily render a certain opinion about this. However, Only just because of the fact that, I mean, I'm not entirely sure that this is necessarily going to really do anything. Because of the fact that you do have the country kind of split 50-50. However, the Assistant Secretary for the Department of Homeland Security, Trish McLaughlin, reacted to the app in an interview with Fox News, and she says, our ICE enforcement officers are seeing a 500% increase in assaults against them, and a lot of this is because of because politicians like AOC, like Tim Walz, like Gavin Newsom, demonize our ICE enforcement officers. So, again, I'm not exactly sure where this is going to fall in the legal sense. But she also adds, that Trish McLaughlin also adds, these apps are absolutely obstructing justice. What our ICE enforcement officers are doing is enforcing the rule of law. It's disgusting, it's wrong, and it's un-American. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure about this. Now, there was a suggestion that Trump supporters download the app because, of course, everything is anonymous. But Trump supporters or people that support ICE download the app and just start reporting a whole bunch of fake locations just to kind of throw everything off. Now, I call your attention once again to Title 18, U.S. Code, Section 111. And it says, assaulting, resisting, or impeding certain officers or employees. And whoever assaults, resists, opposes, impedes, intimidates, or interferes with any person designated while engaged in or on account of the performance of official duties. So you're going to be breaking this law if you're doing this and you're caught doing this, which I think is part of the reason why this guy, I have a feeling there might be, because this is an actual federal code and federal law, I have a feeling that it might be just on the opposite side of legal here. That would have to be borne out by the courts, of course, on its face, and reading the letter of the law, is basically that, yeah, you are technically impeding these officers, and ICE falls within this, these officers and employees of doing their jobs. So you are breaking 18 U.S. Code 111. So that being said, I don't know if you necessarily want to jump in and do this or not, but yeah, I don't know. This is going to be right on the edge. And from what I understand, there's the Department of Justice is actually looking at this and saying, I wonder if maybe we should be able to preemptively do something about this. So I'm hearing rumors that they might be looking at investigating and possibly charging for this, but I don't know exactly how they're necessarily going to charge like the individuals who are doing it, but certainly the guy that created it, okay, could be under a big cloud or a big legal cloud for that. We'll just have to kind of see what's going on with it, because again, this is, also too, don't forget the other one is the other law, and I can't remember right off the top of my head what it is, but it's 1340 section, I think it's Title 8, 1346, 1345, something like that, or 1325, I believe is what it is, and it's the harboring of an illegal alien, knowing that they're there, which you kind of might, I mean, you got to consider, if ICE is in the area, illegal aliens are going to be in the area, because ICE would not just go to some small town that has no illegal aliens for no reason. They're doing this. They're focusing on things like sanctuary cities for that reason, because of the fact that they are sanctuary cities. So you're going to see this kind of thing, this app and that kind of stuff popping up, obviously, in places like New York, Illinois, California, Oregon, Washington, and a few others. But anyway, Those are the ones I can think of right off the top of my head. Anyway. All right. So the Senate, in a very narrow vote, in fact, VP Vance had to get involved to pass it. But Trump's big, beautiful bill finally passed today. The $3.3 trillion budget bill advances with near total GOP unity, while Democrats are warning of some sort of a nuclear option. Not sure what they mean by that. But the Senate Republicans rallied to send President Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill back to the House. Because, again, remember, as I've been telling you, the Senate bill is different than the House bill. And so the House bill essentially has to, they have to reconcile what came back from the Senate with their bill and get it worked out and evened up so that both of them can basically do this. Now, if the House agrees to the Senate's provisions directly, then it can go directly to the president to get signed. If the House doesn't, then it's going to go back to the Senate, and the Senate's going to have to redo it, which, yeah, that might happen, folks. That may happen. We'll just kind of have to see. But nearly every Republican went ahead and voted to advance the bill. Senator Thom Tillis, Rand Paul, and Susan Collins said no. Those three are Republicans. Thom Tillis from North Carolina, Rand Paul, of course, from Kentucky, and Susan Collins from Maine. Now, Rand Paul, in particular, his biggest problem is the fact that it increases the debt ceiling, which, let's be honest, there's a couple of people like Thomas Massie and Rand Paul. They don't want any kind of ceiling lifted. Okay? They don't want any kind of ceiling lifted on this. And not a single Democrat crossed the aisle to support the bill. Believe me, I was watching a lot of the Senate Democrat accounts on X and how they were all complaining about how this got pushed through. They were all complaining about it. But anyway, J.D. Vance made the tie-breaking vote. It was needed to push the bill across the finish line. Yeah. So anyway, now Republican leadership did try to win over Senator Collins and Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska with sweeteners in the final amended version of the bill. They apparently got Lisa Murkowski, but they didn't get Collins. So now the fiscal hawks of the House Freedom Caucus are going to get another shot at it. And of course, they are already saying they do not like and are frustrated with what they say are shallow spending cuts. Moderates are concerned over the cuts to Medicaid, and all of them have warned that they may not support the bill. So this is, I think, if anything, this is going to become one of those things where you're going to see it as sort of a tennis match. It's going to go back and forth over the net and so on and so forth. But Republican leaders like Johnson are making it clear that they intend to have the bill on Trump's desk by Independence Day. Speaker Mike Johnson called on the Senate to change as little as possible. And that way, it's in a product. It would be a product that could pass the House. Anyway. Mark Wayne Mullen from Oklahoma, we're talking to the House. We know they're going to have some issues over there, just like we had some issues when it came over here, too. But we think we're going to pass a bill that they can pass. So, yeah. Anyway, the House Ways and Means Chair, Jason Smith, the chief tax writer in the House, said he was optimistic about the bill on his way to the Senate floor on Tuesday morning. That was this morning. We're moving to the point that we're getting more balance. But what I've said all along is let's have balance in the bill, the Missouri Republican said. We're going to get this done, and we're going to get this to the president by July 4th. So they are really pushing to have this done. And they're trying to get this taken over. Now, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, of course, did his thing, which was bleeding time, hours of mostly one-sided debate, the occasional protest in the Senate gallery, and a grueling blast of amendments, and the penultimate vote to move the ball forward. So it was a very big struggle to get it there. And they did it like all overnight. In fact, I know some of the Democrats were like posting on their social medias. They were posting videos. In particular, one Senator Murray, who is from my lovely state. Anyway, she posted and she was talking about how it's like the 22nd hour, 24th hour, whatever freaking hour it was, and she was complaining about, how late it was and so on and so forth. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway. So, Senate Democrats also tried numerous times to shelve the legislation during the vote-a-rama, while Republicans sought to revive certain measures that were scrapped, like provisions that would have booted illegal immigrants from Medicaid, or amendments to state key Republican holdouts. So, and before the bill was put to the floor on a final vote, last-minute deals were struck and changes were made in a wraparound amendment to attract holdouts. So, included in that was the doubling the rural hospital fund from $25 billion to $50 billion. The rollback to the start date of the SNAP work requirements for states with higher payment error rates, like Alaska. So, yeah, there are some things in there with regards to it. And, of course, we know for a fact that Elon Musk is definitely not happy about it. And he actually has gone so far as to say that, you know what? I'm done with this. I think we need a new party. So he basically posted on X, it is obvious with the insane spending of this bill, which increases the debt ceiling by a record $5 trillion, that we live in a one-party country, the Porky Pig Party. Time for a new political party that actually cares about the people. So I'm going to make a suggestion. First of all, you need to understand something. Right now, we are in such a polarized and divided country that you have, the Republicans on one side and the Democrats on the other, and both parties are so divided against the other that even people who would be considered moderate today are not moderate. They are now sucked over to their particular party because of the division that is in today's world. However, that being said, the timing of this may actually be possible to have a third party actually rise from the rubble and the ashes. But I'm going to toss out to Elon Musk. I don't think he's going to see this, but if he does, I'm going to toss out Elon Musk to check out the Constitutionist Party. That's right, the Constitutionist Party. Now, that party is a Constitutionist party. It deals with the Constitution. It focuses on the Constitution and the way that America was built up and brought into this world by focusing on the Constitution. Now, I'm not a member of that party yet. However, I am taking a serious look at it, and you should too, because you should take a look at some of the tenets that they espouse, some of the things that they are looking for. Now, they're not in every state, by the way, because they are fairly small. They were cobbled together originally by I think it was called the Taxpayers Party or something like that. Anyway, I can't remember. But they have been cobbled together, but they have a big focus on the Constitution and making sure that the government is actually held to that Constitution moving forward. And that, I think, again, as I've been pointing out on multiple occasions on this show, that if you were to take every single law that we have on the books, every single program that we have on the books, and apply the 10th Amendment as the filter or the screen, you would find that many of the things, whether it's a regulatory body or an actual law or a tax filtered through the 10th Amendment, would definitely lean and make the government lean and small like it's supposed to be. So if you're going to think about a party, you might want to think about going to a party that already exists. Now, that being said, do I think the chances of something like this, a third party taking off? I felt that the Tea Party movement possibly might have done it, but for whatever reason, the coalition that was cobbled together didn't last very long. And so, unfortunately, the Tea Party sort of fell apart after becoming what was essentially fairly strong. Now, one of the problems that, of course, Republicans have in all of this is the fact that they have a common practice where they have many factions within the party. The Democrats, on the other hand, no matter what happens, if you're a Democrat and you don't quite agree with the socialist Democrats, that's fine if you're directly one-on-one with them. But up until this year and this past election and the devastation that was descended upon thanks to the win of Trump, we haven't seen the Democrat Party traditionally be this factioned. And they normally, just like always, have the Borg-like, that's Star Trek reference, Borg-like hive mind. And they fight like cats and dogs internally, but the minute that somebody from outside of their pack attempts to get in, they all step together, they circle the wagons, they are against everybody outside of their party. They may treat each other pretty badly, which, I mean, they treat everybody badly. But the point is that the minute that an outsider actually steps forward and attempts to do something to the party, it doesn't matter whether they don't like that individual or not, because that individual is part of their party. And so they will hop to and step to and join together, as you can see in all of the votes that have been going on. You don't see Democrats necessarily crossing the aisle very often. So, yeah. I'm not exactly sure how successful Elon's going to be with this, but hey, if it's going to happen, this might be the time to make it successful. Now, one thing in terms of our American history, the American founders abhorred political parties. In fact, there were so many of them that they felt that it was never going to get down to what we have now, where we have the Republicans and the Democrats. And don't tell me somebody goes, oh, no, what about the Green Party? What about the Libertarian Party? What about all these other parties? Yeah, they're not strong enough. They're not even close to being strong enough. You're going to need to take apart a big percentage of one of the two parties in order to have even the remotest chance of turning this country into a three-party system rather than a two-party system. And that's the challenge. Well, I'm gonna do this. So I'm gonna shift gears here, and I got a post. I saw a post on Facebook. Now, I'm not going to claim that this is true or not, but I just got to say that it's stuff like this, positive messages like this, that really need to be emphasized and transmitted, honestly, throughout the land. So, for tonight, for tonight's Highlighting America. For tonight's Highlighting America, I want to bring this young man's face into the fold. This is the gentleman right here. This was posted on Facebook by Black History Untold. And this is the story. Now, this was posted a day ago. This is the story. Sahil Negrassi, who is apparently a 17-year-old from West Orange, New Jersey, was able to achieve a perfect score of 1,600 on the SATs, placing him in the top 1% of test takers nationwide. Now, he had no formal preschool education. He credits his success to his hard work, self-study through resources like Khan Academy, and a balanced schedule with AP coursework and his extracurricular activities. His inspiring journey shows that with determination and a focused mindset, anything is possible. Folks, has nothing to do with the color of his skin. Yes, he is what appears to be a person of color. He appears to be a Black American. This has nothing to do with the color of your skin. This has nothing to do with the mutable characteristics of the fact that he grew up wherever he grew up. I mean, West Orange, New Jersey. I have no idea whether that's a, low-income neighborhood, high-income neighborhood, and even to be completely honest, it really doesn't matter. What does matter is that this young man worked incredibly hard, focused, and pushed himself, and was able to achieve a perfect 1,600 on a test that is utilized by colleges across the country in order to accept him. Now, with a score like that, he's probably going to get grants and maybe even to a point he could get a free ride academic scholarship. But what I can tell you is this, is his words about how he did it. He credits his success, and I got to read this again. He credits his success to hard work, self-study, and a balanced schedule. Do you hear anything in that screams, I need to blame everybody for my problems? And I need to blame others and the color of my skin, and I was oppressed? No. No, what you hear is a young man who basically was able to stand up and say, you know what? I have a goal. My goal is to focus on my education and to get what I need in order to achieve that goal. And he was willing to work hard. And he busted his ass, and what did he get? He got his perfect score on the SATs. Now, I don't know if that was his intent in all this, but he definitely loves learning, and he deserves all of the applause that we can possibly give him for this particular success. And this, folks, this is what Highlighting America is all about. We need to highlight him for his achievement in all of this. All right. Well, speaking about America, Congress and the Democrats, they remain at the rock bottom in the eyes of the American voters. So a new PBS Marist NPR news poll was released today that shows that just 27% of registered voters said they approve of how congressional Democrats are performing in office. That actually has dropped from 39% from February of 2024, according to the survey. Meanwhile, the poll found that 58% of voters said that they disapprove of congressional Democrats' leadership, and 15% said that they were unsure. Now, The Democrats are almost evenly split on how the Democrat leaders in Congress are doing in office. 44% of them saying they approve of what they're doing, and 43% say they disapprove, according to the poll. Now, think about this. Again, just think about this. This is the most factional that we have seen the Democrat Party in years. So, of those surveyed, also 36%, including 73% of Republicans, said they approved of how congressional Republicans are doing in office. And that's actually up 26% from 2024. Additionally, 52% said that they disapprove of congressional Republicans' leadership, while 12% said that they are unsure, according to the survey. So, yeah. Democrats aren't doing themselves any kind of favor, realistically. And while you're sitting here thinking, oh, those Democrats, they're gonna retake the American flag. That was their goal. They're like, hey, we left the flag. You remember me talking about that about a week or two ago? No. If you're a Democrat, the new Gallup poll is coming out, shows a sharp decline in national pride among Democrats themselves, with just 36% describing themselves as either extremely or very proud to be an American. It's the lowest level recorded for the party in the last 25 years. The results, which were released Monday, reflect a significant drop from 2024, where 62% of Democrats reported being extremely or very proud of their country. So obviously, they definitely have TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, for sure. According to Gallup, the decrease in Democrat pride has contributed to an overall decline in national pride across the board, which is now at a record low of 58%. Gallup noted that Democrats' current level of pride is even lower than in 2020, when it dipped to 42%. That figure had climbed substantially to 62% following the inauguration of Joe Biden in 2021 and remained above 50% for most of his term. But the last time over 80% of Democrats reported strong national pride was actually under former President Barack Obama. In contrast, Republicans have maintained consistently high levels of patriotism, regardless of the changes in political leadership. So Republicans are definitely the American Pride Party. And I can tell you something about my particular, we won't call it an experiment, but my display that I have out on my fence that faces the road. My wife told me the other day she actually watched some old biddy driving down the road flipping off all of my American flags. I have 8 of them along the road on the fence and 2 on my gate to come into my property. The total of 10 are public facing. And yeah, they sit there and they started flipping things off. Yeah. Heard some horn honking today, though, so that made me feel good. Heard a few horn honks as somebody went by. Don't know if that was because of somebody honking saying, F you, or somebody just honking saying they agree with it. Sometimes you can't tell. I mean, the horn sounds the same, but it was definitely a series of beep, 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 beep as it went. So there you go. All right. Well, Americans, this is not gonna light off the left much again, because they keep saying, "Oh yeah, prices are going up. Prices are going up." Really? Well, here, town hall. Thanks to President Trump, America enjoys the lowest summer gas prices since 2021. Yeah. Yep. More than 20 cents lower than prices just a year ago. The release, which was by the White House newsletter, released over the weekend, pointed to the mainstream media headlines from June 23rd that warned of potential economic fallout from the president's decision to strike Iran, Just days after warning of the economic fallout, outlets like the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and NBC News were already reporting signs of relief, highlighting the dropping gas prices and how that would affect Americans' typical summer road trips. Yeah. Oh, yeah, unless, of course, you're in California where you have a 65-cent gas tax that's added as of today. Well, that's what happens under Democrat leadership. Taxes. A Democrat has not seen a tax that they did not love. So, yeah. Anyway. So Daniel Turner, who is founder and executive director of Power of the Future, which is an organization fighting for American energy dominance and independence, said in a statement to the outlet Town Hall that I'm reading from, "The energy industry's future is bright thanks to President Trump's policies. Proof? Our oil production numbers are roughly the same as under Biden, but we are paying more than $20 a barrel less. That delta is the future. It's why turmoil in the Middle East did not scare the industry into $130 a barrel of oil. The industry sees the future in America as bright, optimistic, dominant, and it is reflected in the price point. We are now resilient. That's what energy dominance means. National security and security for Americans." Well, it's not just oil prices. Oil prices and gas prices that are down. It's also, for the first time in 4 years, as reported by the Federalist, Americans aren't paying more for their July 4th cookouts. You guys might hit a blank here. This year's total cookout cost is actually down 30 cents from the record high $71.22 bill calculated in 2024 under Biden. So in the last 4 years, too, by the way, Americans have suffered through record high inflation that threatened to derail backyard barbecues across the nation. That cost curse, however, is expected to change as year-over-year inflation rates under President Donald Trump hits lows unseen under President Joe Biden. Prices, no doubt, are higher than during Trump's second term than they were during his first, yet Independence Day party hosts and goers will get some reprieve this year compared to a Biden administration-induced inflation that plagued their grilling in years past. According to American Farm Bureau's Federation latest report, a July 4th cookout, including cheeseburgers, pork chops, chicken, potato salad, fruit, ice cream, and other picnic staples for 10 guests, will cost roughly $70.92 this year. So there you go. Well, the total remains one of the highest prices ever recorded by the AFBF, up significantly from $52.80 recorded in 2019 before COVID and Biden inflation price hikes. It is down 30 cents from the record high in 2024, which was $71.22. Well, there you go. Things are going to cost a little bit cheaper. Gas is a little bit cheaper. Things are coming down. It's going to take a little bit of time, though. Keep that in mind. It's going to take a little bit of time to deconstruct the 4 years of destruction that was under the Biden administration and the Democrat-run regime. Alrighty, folks, that is it for me for this evening. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free. And once you are signed up and signed in, make sure you search up the American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified that every time I go live. Also, too, don't forget to hit those thumbs up, or if you really want to give me a thumbs down, that's great, too. Give me the thumbs down, and do that across all of my platforms, whether it is YouTube, X, Facebook, and, of course, the aforementioned Rumble. We will see you tomorrow night for Whiskey Wednesday. By the way, I do not have a pet of the week. If you're going to get me a pet of the week, you better do it. I don't have one for tomorrow, so I need a pet of the week. And I'm sure I'm going to get some submissions for the alligator Alcatraz, I'm sure. Anyway, we will see you tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern time for Whiskey Wednesday. Have a great rest of your evening, and good night.